Hey guys, it's Trent Howell, and as you see by the title of the video, I am making a video about my high school and school experience. And for once, I took notes. I'm trying to cover the names and stuff of what I've written. There are many code names, as you guys can tell, and I'm going to talk about the truth of what I experienced, and hopefully people will believe me. People could understand what I went through and also give advice on people who are probably experiencing the same exact thing as I did. Now, I already tried filming this like 3 or 4 times, and I always forget the code names. And I always forget where I left off. So now I have the proper names. Hopefully, if they're not covered all the way, I will blur them out. But let's get started. Okay. As long as I know, I was always the outsider. I didn't have that many friends. I was always laughed at because I was always this big, even though, like, in this shirt I don't look very big, but I am not I am overweight. I think I am, but thankfully I'm not diabetic or pre-diabetic. But I was always this chubby kid, and I was kind of like left out of so many things. The one thing I remember is every time I would get up during test and sharpen my pencil, everybody would say, "Sit back down, you can't do that." And then my friend, let's call her Elizabeth, she's not on the list of names, but Elizabeth told me after I left that school, everybody started getting up, sharpening their pencils during tests and stuff, and didn't have any problem. That kind of made me really upset for a while, but it kind of made sense to me because not a lot of people at that school very much like me, but now they like me for some reason. So after I left that school, I started a new school. This is still an elementary, I'm pretty sure. And I still had a very small group of friends, not really like in a big group or anything. And in 2014, my grandma did sadly pass away. So I became like a bully in a way. I definitely did latch out, and this girl, she's not on the list. I should have put her on the list. But let's name her Hannah. Hannah and I were like pretty good friends up until I started acting out. I had attention almost every single day. And Hannah and I had the same crush on this guy, and my codename for him is Jack. Jack and I were really good. We're kind of okay friends, and Hannah and I were really good friends. We all had our own little group, and we all had our separate friends in our little group. But anyways, we were mostly just like a little group of friends, and me and her had the same crush. Well, one day I was being a little bitch and told him that Hannah liked him. She told the teacher, and I got in trouble, and I was told that that wasn't like, I shouldn't have said that. I should have just kept it to myself because that wasn't a good friend. And yes, that was true. Don't, if you and your friend has the same crush on a guy, even when you're like in third, fourth grade, just keep it to yourself. Like, yeah, you guys can talk about this guy, but don't be a bitch and just say, "Hey, so this girl likes you," and don't I don't know. Okay, what I mean to say is don't out your friends. Don't ever say, "Oh, so and so likes you," just because you have a crush on this guy. When after that, she was expelled for some reason, I don't remember, and me and Jack got close. And as I grew up, I started questioning things about myself, and I had a crush This girl, she was my ex. I don't think she ever watches my videos, but for the sake, let's call her Hannah too. So Hannah and I dated for about a week, and then we broke up. And but before that, this guy Jackson, he like after I came out and stuff, Jackson started making fun of me, calling me names, just because I was gay. And later in high school, he started questioning his own sexuality. So, and to preface this, or whatever the word is, I did go to a private Christian school. It wasn't great, and more stories on that is coming soon, hopefully. I have the courage to do that. But anyways, after me and this girl broke up, we all of us girls in the same grade was called to the office, and me and Hannah too, and her twin sister and another girl was called out for being in a couple. That wasn't allowed at this school. So we had a very stern talking to just because there was rumors about us dating. It was only the girls, surprisingly, from what I remember, it was only the girls that was called into the counselor's office being talked to about how it was wrong to date the same sex. Moved buildings. And this was right at the beginning or in between of middle school and high school, I want to say. And this new guy came in, and let's call him Leon. And Leon and Jack were really good friends. We're really good friends for the longest time. And I was also part of this group. And by this time, things get foggy for me. I don't really remember the timeline. I was going to say the stories and try to give advice at the end of this. But anyways, Jack and Leon were really good friends, and I was part of this group too. This was after a former friend of mine stopped being friends, and she left the school and stuff like that. But Jack and Leon and I were really good friends. We talked outside of school and stuff, and I had the biggest crush on Jack, like I said before. Well, when I was 14-year-old, I lost my virginity, and I told him, and he asked about this parent, so I explained it to him. And then a month or so later, we started flirting with each other. He was older. I was a lot younger in the sense. I think he was like 16, I want to say 16, 17, around that age. And Jack and Leon created a group chat, and they started pre-pressuring me for nudes, and sadly I did. And then Jack took me to a private chat, or talked to me in a private chat that we talked to on, and we both started sending each other stuff. And then Jack got caught watching an adult film at home and at school, and was expelled, and the FBI was called on him. At this point, I felt like I was attention seeker, and throughout middle school, I was an attention seeker. But after the whole FBI investigation, I blocked myself from Jack and never really talked to him again. I know after, as my senior year came to an end, we did talk for a little bit, and then he found out that I was still underage, and he blocked me, and now he has a new girlfriend. If he's watching this, happy for you. I'm very happy for you. Like I said, I was an attention seeker. Even in middle school, I would post flirty pictures and really inappropriate pictures, I will say that, to the point where my family was trying to stop me from doing this. But I was going through a lot that I barely is even able to share right now. But anyways, after that whole ordeal, that's when a guy named Tucker came into play, and Tucker and Leah were good friends too. So again, another friend group was formed between me and these two guys, and Tucker had a girlfriend, and let's call her Liv. Liv and Tucker were like high school sweethearts. They were always together, but they're always on and off relationship, like the typical middle school couple. And I had a crush on Tucker, and I made gotcha videos about the situation and talked about it. So I'll link that video in the description below if you guys want to see that. If that's still up, if that's not, then it's gone. Anyways, Tucker and I started talking one day after, because I had to leave school, and we were very, like, really good friends. I was like a homie or whatever you want to call it. I was part of the boys. And I keep knocking into something that's on the floor. Tucker and I started talking outside of school this one day, and I asked him to hook up. He said he didn't say yes, he didn't say no, but then we started sending pictures to each other. Oh my god, what is my dog doing out there? I'm sorry. Anyways, the next morning, Tucker told me to delete everything, and I did, except for the video I sent him to ask to hook up with him. And the next day, we kind of did like a little bit fooled around in the middle of class, and I was completely like, I felt horrible, like I felt sick to my stomach, horrible about this situation. So I told Liv about it, but at first I didn't tell her what exactly happened or who it was with until I couldn't keep it in no more. They broke up. Then at the end of the day, she asked me again, like, do you have any proof that this happened? And I showed her the TikTok I sent him, and the next thing I knew, the next day, they were back together and was being total assholes to everyone in the school. I felt so sick, but every time I talked about it with my friends or talked about it with the teachers, I was called a liar. And Liv, if you're watching this, I am terrified of you. I'm afraid that if something did happen between me and him, you would probably kill me or try to fight me, like, and I wouldn't blame you. Anyways, time for high school. I was over everyone at this point. Like, I didn't care, but as soon as I got into high school, I tried to experience like online and stuff and try to figure out myself. And eventually, like at the end of high school, I think I was a senior. I think, yeah, I was a senior. It was like it was my junior or sophomore or junior year. I created this account where I would ask people to send certain emojis that were from these really sexy pictures, and I would send them like either like really like crappy like like pictures or even uncensored pictures. And the guy I mentioned before, Jackson, he told the principal about this account. And I know this because I was so happy one day, and I was like really like I was on top of the world because of this thing. Like, this gave me an adrenaline, whatever the word is, gave me a thrill, if that makes sense. And I went into the office to help a teacher to grab papers from the printer, and I saw Jackson show the principal his phone, and she's like, "Oh my God, yeah, we'll get this sorted out. Don't worry about it." And he's like, "Thank you." And I was called into the office, was talked about it, and was told to delete the account. So I did. I had to do it in front of the principal. And the counselor basically called me a hooker because I was basically asking for money for these pictures, which I wasn't. I was not. But looking back, yeah, in a way, it was kind of acting like a hooker. So, yeah, that completely broke me after that day. And now that after I turned 18, I have an OF. So, joke's on you. um, but even during my junior year or my senior year, me and this girl, let's call her Megan, or yeah, Megan. Me and Megan were very close friends. She was with me for my basically 3 years of high school because I skipped a grade. I'm that smart. But we were very close friends, and I eventually became intimidated by her. She is so beautiful. Like, even when she talked down on herself, I would say, "You're so beautiful." I had the biggest crush on her. Even now I kind of do, but it's kind of like a toxic crush because she was a friend. It was a very toxic friendship, and when I was younger, I had a similar toxic friendship, which didn't end happily. And this one, I basically ghosted her. Megan and I hung out almost every day because she was my ride to YB Tech and stuff. And one day I remember she was overwhelmed about something, and then she yelled in class that she wanted to unalive herself. So I told her parents and her sister. She basically said I shouldn't have done that and didn't take me home that day. She just drove off really fast out of the parking lot. And then once in a while she would stop taking me and stuff, and we would have little arguments here and there. I remember um at one Pride festival we went to, the very first one I ever went to, I was on top of the world. I was happy. And then me and this other friend, she was getting kind of bored of it, and so we were just trying to figure out how to leave. We couldn't figure out a ride, so we just stayed, watched the drag shows, and was trying to be happy. But we didn't know that Megan was already ready to go, was already like she was set to go at that certain point. But since we didn't have a ride, we stayed, watched the drag shows, and then me and her were talking. She got so frustrated, and I tried to set her down, try to like talk to her sensibly, and then she pushed me. It hurt. And she said, "I didn't push you that hard," and was trying to defend herself. And it was horrible. Eventually, her dad noticed, like, not after the I guess after the Pride Festival, me and her would argue a little bit here and there, and he would try to tell me, like, "You should stand up for yourself." Well, every single time I tried to stand up to myself, she would turn it around and say, "Stop standing up for yourself. You're in the wrong here," and blah blah blah. And it was a very toxic friendship. Even at the end, it was very awkward. Very awkward. And if Megan, if you're watching this, I wish the best for you. I love your family so much, and I kind of hope you get help because you seriously needs help. I will not talk anymore about Megan. This is the end of the video. Sorry I keep staring at the wall. I'm not very used to talking to straight into the camera like I was back in YB Tech. So anyways, that's all for this video. What I can say is that high school, middle school, elementary school, any type of schooling is hard. It's shitty, it's difficult, it sucks. There's always someone trying to pick on you, but you gotta be the bigger person. Like, the reason why I waited this long to say anything is because I'm afraid that the kids from my school will know who these people are and will attack me or leak my address or do anything to make me feel scared for my life. Like today, I went to the store and I saw Tucker. I was pissed but also sad. I almost had a panic at just listening to him talk. Like, it just made me feel icky. And it made me feel like I couldn't be happy in that certain moment just because he was right there. And when I go to my favorite store in the mall, I feel like I have to not go to that store anymore because somebody, Jackson, works there and I'm terrified of him and he's probably happy that I'm terrified of him. I'm honestly terrified of everyone from my school, even the people I have mentioned in this video today. Anyways, I love you all so much. Hope you enjoy this, and if I'm still here, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.